the tribe of Judah. We are in the 6th month, bearing down on the 7th month, and Yom Teruah, a day to remember shouting and rumblings and noise and trumpet blasts. A day that collectively draws together every month and every movement and every moment when Yehovah was present with us his people in very remarkable ways. In wonders and in earthquakes and in moments of celebration, and every day when we offered up thanks to Elohim. He orders the evenings in the mornings, the days and the months and the years of rest for the arable land and the soil and the jubilees. And he is gracious to be present with us despite all our twisting away and breaking step and cutting out huge chunks from his instructions. How gracious is he to come and dwell among us despite all these things, and to decontaminate us by his presence, by his instructions, by his commandments, and by his judgments. And to continue to call to us to return to him, for he is gracious and kind and full of exclusive privileges, and ever so willing to loose us from our debts and to restore us the ifcuts that weigh us down and bog us down in error and badness and even death. So on the 10th day of this month, the day of coverings, Kapharim, we can come before him reminded of all our twisting aways and all our breaking steps and all the chunks that we have cut out of his instructions and which are upon our shoulders as burdens and in a path like rocks, and which litter the way to his uncontaminated house, contaminating it. And on that day we can anxiously abase ourselves in every way and show and tell that we do not want to contaminate or be contaminated and so be destroyed by fire like Aaron's 2 sons. But rather we want to see our high priest come out safely from his audience with our Father, having brought in before our Father our pleas and pleading for mercy and grace, and showing by our sacrifices and our abasement that we want to renew our relationship in a pure way. That we want the purity that is demanded of us and exemplified in the cleanness of our sacrifices to be transferred to us from them, and our impurities and contamination to be transferred to them and sent away from us, burnt up and removed from before your face, O Yehovah. On the beautiful sunrise on the 10th day, may the light shine through the open gate onto the altar and reflect off the bowl of water in which the high priests and the priests wash themselves, and cast its light and its reflection into the decontaminated place, sparkling off the gold altars and lamps, and shine with full strength onto the curtain of the uncontaminated place of all decontaminated places where you have placed your safeguarding chest covered over by a golden seat, your throne, our Father, and the throne of your Son who sits in it, with Yeshua, your Yeshua, Yehovah, Prince of satisfactory agreement. But now we know for these past 2,000 years almost, this spectacle has not happened because of the unwillingness of your people and the Jewish nation to accept Yeshua, sacrificing him on a tree by means of their Roman allies. You tore open the curtain to reveal no chest and no golden seat in that temple, that house. You made it plain that you were not at home there, but in fact remained in your place above the atmosphere to which all pleadings would now have to be directed. And to this end you raised up your son Issachar to make plain that this one was now the high priest after the report of Melchizedek, who commanded Abraham and all who had ears to hear to bend the knee to Jehovah with benedictions and salutations. And to this one Abraham without hesitation gave a tenth of all that had accumulated to him by the grace of the exclusive privileges of Jehovah. So in one sweep a new administration was announced and put in place, and all of us who have had our eyes opened and ears open to the good news are called to be priests in the service of our high priest Issachar. We are indeed called to be a kingdom of priests. And to those who want to turn back to Jehovah, they will understand that this is the same covenant that Jehovah made with the children of Israel through Moses and through Issachar, and which was upheld by Samuel and David, and to which we were all called to return by all his prophets in the wisdom of which we were taught by his sages in the writings and the songs of Tehillim. And now this same covenant has been renewed with a better promise of the incredible human potential, because we have the best high priest and the best instructors in the instructions of Jehovah, even the decontaminating wind, and we have the presence of the Father. Issachar is communicating to us by means of the decontaminating wind in his name, and which has been signified by the signet ring of our Father Jehovah, our great high priest, according to the instructions first of all sacrificed a bull for himself and his family and all the priests and the Levite. Even so our Lord Issachar offered up and laid down his breathing and digesting blood, being for his friends and students and apprentices to Jehovah, and who steadfastly respond and endure to the end of our breathing and digesting blood beings. To this end that we would be found worthy to administer grace and exclusive privileges to the children of Israel and to the nations. And then, having washed and put on other clothes, our high priest came out and sacrificed the lamb for the people of the nation of Israel, those that committed themselves to a renewed relationship with our Father. Their blood was brought in and sprinkled before the safeguarding chest, on which is the covering seat of gold, where our Father sits when he is present, as he always is in his imperial throne above the atmosphere. Again a high priest purifies himself by changing his clothes. And now again he comes out to the people who, at seeing that he has survived death, give thanks and praise and submission and salutation on their faces and on their knees to our gracious Father. And in that moment, having changed his clothes again, our high priest takes the 2 goats, one to be sent away, carrying all of our unwanted twisting away behaviors, all our unwanted breaking step behaviors, and all unwanted chunks and cuts hacked out of the instructions of our Father, having restored these to the rightful place in our chest cavities. And now we are rid of these, because they are sent away into the wilderness to the Gaza Strip, no more to be associated with this. And the goat that is for Jehovah he completely burns up and turns to smoke on the altar, finally sending up a sweet odor to our Father, signifying the destruction of all those misbehaviors that we have offloaded with great joy and willingness. This work of our Lord and Master and High Priest Yeshua continues to this day for all of us who are steadfast and seek first the imperial administration of our Father Yehovah Elohim, made all the more efficacious by the constancy of our High Priest who knows all our weaknesses and how to overcome them and conquer them and qualify to be presented before our Father as loyal, true, faithful and good apprentices. Being in this way decontaminated and fervent, we may proclaim the good news as apprentice priests and kings to everyone in all the nations, so that they too might understand and receive these exclusive privileges which come from the grace of our Father if they so desire and steadfastly choose. This is how we fix the world, devoting ourselves even to the extent of laying down our breathing and digesting blood beings in the cause to which our Lord has dedicated us, as he himself is dedicated fire, 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 fire,